First off, I'd like to, well, the thing with community choice energy is that over the past few years, it's been a quiet revolution. And really to make large impact in terms of a changing climate, I think it was necessary, just from a structural standpoint, to have these local utilities. It's been quiet. I think that probably has most to do with the billing, in that Pacific Gas and Electric does the billing and there's no logos or anything. So a lot of people aren't even aware of community choice energy, even if it's an opt-in program. And but hopefully they will become more and more aware of it, and also aware of all the amazing programs that are available and the funding for them, and how that's been growing in just the past couple of years. So we have, well, ideally four panelists. Well, I'll just start. I'm not sure this is the order, the running order, but we'll start this. First off, Carlos Moreno from Peninsula Clean Energy is a community outreach specialist representing Peninsula Clean Energy at community events like this, and also is involved in building strategic relationships. Colleen McCamy is from Silicon Valley Clean Energy and has been the den mother of this particular panel, and works on marketing outreach and coordinating with all SVCE communities representing the agency at events, public events. Raul Hernandez is from San Jose Clean Energy and is a public information representative. Is responsible for creating and implementing the digital marketing and outreach programs. And our missing panelist is Jeffery Liang from BayREN, and he manages the Bay Area Regional Energy Network single family program, overseeing residential energy efficiency and electrification rebate program across 9 counties in the Bay Area. And he was the last person, because the BayREN, a lot of the BayREN programs actually stack up on top of the community choice program. So hopefully he can pop up here in this panel. So I believe, Carlos, you were first up.
So Colleen was actually going to get us started. I don't see her on the panelist, but I see that she's chatted on here. So I think she just needs to be promoted to a panelist.
Okay, I'll do it again. I did it the first time, but I guess it didn't work.
There she is.
Okay. Oh, Colleen, that was close.
Perfect. Yeah, I can. Thanks for promoting me here to the panelist, and we're excited to get started. I will go ahead and share the screen here.
Sure, and I'm going to drop from view. And by the way, we have a Palooza banner.
Okay, so we should have the screen up and ready if everyone can see it. Great. So yeah, today we are going to be talking about community choice energy agencies and the programs that they provide customers to electrify. So as the title suggests, this is going to be an electrifying presentation, and we'll hear from PCE, Peninsula Clean Energy, SJCE, San Jose Clean Energy, and Silicon Valley Clean Energy. But to kick it off and to get started, we're going to just talk about community choice energy agencies as a whole through the state of California. And so there are currently 24 different agencies serving 11 million Californians. And so communities, cities, and towns come together to form these agencies to have a say where their electricity is coming from, and to kind of have local clean energy for customers. And this structure was authorized by Assembly Bill 117, which allows these communities to come together and form these agencies. And so zooming into the Bay Area more specifically, from the state of California into the Bay, we're going to look at these. There's a bunch of different community choice energy agencies serving counties, towns, cities throughout the Bay. And you can see the different ones over to the right with the map associated with it. But as a whole, these agencies are working with the communities and residents and businesses to fight climate change locally through supplying clean energy, as well as programs that help customers electrify at home, on the road, and within businesses. And so how does this work? There's always been two different sides of your electricity utility. There's been the source, or the generation, and the delivery. Previously, PG&E did both for areas that PG&E serves. And then with a community that has a CCE, Community Choice Energy Agency, that agency goes out and purchases and builds clean energy resources so that the electricity is sourced from clean energy. And then that energy is still delivered along the existing infrastructure that PG&E has. So they do the transmission and the delivery to the customer, where they can benefit from cleaner electricity and with local control. And that local control comes from the Community Choice Energy's kind of governing structure, in that local elected officials are on the board that help kind of guide the Community Choice Energy Agency, so it's locally owned and governed. And part of this electricity that we wanted to mention as well before we jump into some of the programs is this time of use rate transition that is happening statewide. And so many customers who are on an existing tiered rate will be placed or transitioned to a new time of use billing rate. And so what this means is that when you use electricity is going to determine the cost of that electricity. And so on the bottom here of the graph, you could see that from pretty much midnight to 4 p.m. and then after 9 p.m. to midnight, energy is lower cost. So that would be considered off-peak. But then during that peak time from 4 to 9, their energy will be costing a little bit more, and that is to accommodate for the high demand, as solar energy tends to ramp down at that time as the sun is setting, and the demand of electricity and that need is higher, which then causes a less clean grid, as some natural gas peaker plants may be going online and all of that. And another item on this is, so Santa Clara County will be transitioning in June 2021. San Mateo County will be transitioning in September, but PG&E and a lot of community choice energy agencies are offering bill protection, in that if you end up paying more over a 12-month period on time of use than you would have for a tiered rate, that difference will be credited back to your electricity bill for that kind of protection. And there's a lot of different savings opportunities with this, and that you can choose to use electricity when it is lower cost and cleaner. And moving into some of the programs, we're going to be focusing on different clean energy options, transportation, homes and buildings, and energy resilience, and how your community choice energy agency has a program for you if you're interested in these. And with that, I will pass it over to Carlos at Peninsula Clean Energy.
Great. Thank you, Colleen. Thank you, Dennis and Sustainable Silicon Valley for hosting us today. I'm going to talk specifically about programs in San Mateo County. Colleen gave a brief overview of CCE's, Community Choice Energy programs as a whole. We're an energy generation agency in San Mateo County, but now I'm going to talk specifically of how residents can take advantage of programs in San Mateo County. So next slide. So briefly, in San Mateo County, since Peninsula Clean Energy was launched in 2016, we have been able to save $18 million across all the customer accounts. So this is residents and businesses that were automatically opted into Peninsula Clean Energy, since we're 5% less expensive than what PG&E would have charged in generation. So in terms of the carbon emissions we've been able to save, we've avoided about 144,000 metric tons of carbon emissions, which is equivalent to removing around 30,000 cars from the road for 1 year. So that's kind of broad picture of the impact we've had as a whole. So talking more specifically about some of our programs, next slide, please. We focus on three main areas. Colleen touched on them. All CCEs in our area are focusing on, not only clean energy options, but specifically on residents, transportation, home and buildings, and energy resilience. And these are some of the programs, and I'm going to touch on some of these briefly from our three main programmatic areas. Next slide. Okay, so first is transportation. We have two programs to help people look into electric vehicles. One is we have a program to rent for residents to rent an EV for free. So how that works is that a resident can go to any car rental company, enterprise. We recommend Turo, which is an app that people can go because they have a large supply of EVs. They can rent an EV. We estimate 1 to 3 days, depending on which EV you choose. And we'll give a rebate of up to $200, all on our website. And the second program is a rebate for used EV programs. So this program is for income qualifying residents right now. So that income qualifying means an income for an individual of up to around 50,000 for one, scaling up to around 100,000 for a family of 4. And if you are in those income limits or below, we would give up to $4,000 for you to purchase a used EV anywhere. So in June, this program is going to morph a little bit to include all income levels. So that number would be around $2,000 if your income is beyond what I just mentioned. For those who are still below that income level, it stays around 4,000. And if you are below those income levels, you can still stack the other incentive programs with our program. Next slide, please. Okay. So we've gotten a lot of requests for an e-bike program. So I'm really excited to announce the e-bike program we're just launching. This program is also starting off with income qualifying residents. And this is for up to $800 off the purchase price of any e-bike. And the way this is going to work, we're partnering with 4 bike shops in the Bay Area, where a resident, and this income qualifying, it's the same exact income as the used EV program. So this is up to 50,000 for one, for a family of 4, up to 100,000. So this is really great for people who may be retired or for college students, etc. If you qualify for that, you can go to one of the 4 participating bike shops, show them the voucher that you are approved, and they will take off that money off the top. So you don't have to worry about a rebate. So that's one way of getting the voucher. Another way is you can purchase your e-bike online, anywhere, Amazon, whatever website you want, any store, Costco, etc. But you would just have to pay upfront and then apply for a post-purchase rebate afterwards. And that program is going to launch later this month, next week, actually. So next slide, please. Great. In terms of resilience, our main program is called Power on Peninsula. So we're offering an incentive. Obviously everyone knows about the power safety, power shutoffs. What you may not know is that even if you have solar and the power shuts off, you can't produce energy if the power is off. You also lose power. So the way to maintain power in terms of resilience is to have a battery system on that. So we're offering an incentive of $1,250 for a solar plus battery storage system. So for this program right now, if you're a resident and a homeowner, you cannot have solar yet. So meaning that this is all solar plus battery. So if you already have solar, this unfortunately doesn't apply yet, although we're trying to expand that. So this is if you do not have solar yet. And the way these lease agreements are designed is to help residents save money on electricity bills. And having batteries, of course, you would be able to maintain energy if there is a power safety power or any kind of shut off. Next, yes. Okay, so this is the heat pump water heater program. So what people may not know is, homes and buildings is actually one of the largest source of carbon emissions that a person can have. And within that, one of the biggest emission emitters is the water heater that we have at home. So we're giving people in partnership with BayREN up to $2,500 off for a heat pump water heater. And this program is not income qualifying, meaning that any resident in San Mateo can apply for this. However, if you're on the CareFera discount rate, this is for CareFera is an income qualifying program, then you can get additional rebates. Or if you need an electrical panel upgrade, you can get more rebates as well. And this is in partnership with BayREN. So they have a longstanding program, and there's a single application. You can layer incentives, and BayREN has an energy advisor and participating contractor network. Next slide. Great, and those are all the programs I wanted to cover for today. So I'm gonna hand it off to Raul. Thank you so much, everyone. Appreciate everyone's time.
Thank you, Carlos. And thank you, Dennis, and thank you, Sustainable SV, for having San Jose Clean Energy here today. My name is Raul Hernandez. I represent San Jose Clean Energy, and we're the city of San Jose's electricity provider. And just like Peninsula Clean Energy and Silicon Valley Clean Energy, we are a community choice energy program, but we only serve the city of San Jose. Next slide, please. So before kind of getting into the meat of our programs, and obviously we're all Peninsula Clean Energy, Silicon Valley Clean Energy, and ourselves, we're all at different stages of our community choice energy journey. So we were established by San Jose City Council in May 2017, and in February 2019 we launched service to most San Jose residents and businesses, and today we're serving more than 350,000 customers. So we are a fairly new program, which is the reason why today we kind of want to discuss our clean energy services as well. So if there's any San Jose residents here today, you might have received some emails or even mailers about some service changes. So I kind of want to touch on those things a little bit as well, just in case there are any questions that arise or anything like that. So next slide, please. So as of last week, May 11th, San Jose Clean Energy now offers 3 clean energy products to customers. And unfortunately, due to PG&E fees and short-term energy costs, we had to make the decision to increase green source rates for the average San Jose household. But however, to address our global climate emergency and to ensure customers experience a positive outcome from this increase, we increased the renewable energy content count of green source from 40% to 55%. So green source will continue to be our default product for our new customers, but now you're receiving a higher amount of renewable energy. But also recognizing that customers appreciate having options and that some customers are struggling to pay their utility bills at this moment, we also created a product called Green Value. So Green Value is our new lowest cost product with rates the same as PG&E, but consists of 36% renewable energy, which is still slightly above the California, higher than the California average. But any customer can enroll in Green Value at any time. And if there's a San Jose customer here today, you'll see these changes on your bill in June and July, depending on your billing cycle. And then also just talking about Total Green as well, which is our upgrade service. We have a 100% renewable energy upgrade service that costs about $4 more than Green Source per month. So it's just another way of doing more for the community and also being able to invest back into local programs. But just like I said, I kind of wanted to touch on these types of things as well, just so if there are any customers out there who've seen these notices in the mail or email, we could answer any questions here today. Next slide, please. And along with kind of just the promotion of clean energy. Obviously, we want to be able to make sure that, as many customers have access to clean energy, which is why we also introduced SJ Cares. And this is a program that allows customers enrolled in CARE or FARA discount programs to pay the lowest generation charges of green value, but remain in green source service. So you're receiving a higher renewable energy count for less. So existing CARE and FARA customers are automatically enrolled into SJ Cares, so there's no action needed. So you receive green source energy at green value prices. Next slide, please. And then just the benefits of San Jose Clean Energy. Obviously, San Jose Clean Energy's power contains more renewable energy than PG&E standard service. And this obviously helps fight climate change and preserve the planet for future generations. And in addition to fighting climate change, clean energy is better for our health. Obviously, we all know this, and it leads to cleaner air. And obviously, we're also investing in more renewable energy and storage projects that will lead to a cleaner grid and more clean energy jobs. So recently, we invested over the last year and a half, we've invested in 500 megawatts of new wind and battery storage that'll be online by the end of 2022. And just like, all community choice energy programs, we've been able to have a savings of 8.5 million community-wide savings since our launch. So those are all great things and great benefits for our program. Next slide, please. And just talking about local control, obviously being a community choice energy program, we're governed by the San Jose City Council, so it's open and transparent, and any excess revenue stays within the city for programs. So a lot of the things that, obviously being a fairly new program, we want to make sure that, we're able to offer, programs that further reduce greenhouse gas emissions and promote equity. For instance, we've recently invested in the Cal EVIP project, which is also a project that Peninsula Clean Energy and Silicon Valley Clean Energy were a part of. And I'll talk a little bit about more about that project in the next slide. Next slide, please. And like I had mentioned, we've partnered with the California Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Project to install more EV chargers in public places like commercial parking lots, apartment complexes, workplaces. And we're making the efforts to encourage more applicants to install chargers in all parts of San Jose to ensure everyone has access to this infrastructure, especially as EVs become more affordable. And like I mentioned, Peninsula Clean Energy and Silicon Valley Clean Energy are part of this project. So just not only San Jose wide, but Bay Area wide, there's been an investment of close to 55 million in available funds for these infrastructure, for this EV charging infrastructure. So yeah, we'll see it coming online within the next few years, 2022, 2023, around there. So, and if anybody wants to find out more about just San Jose specific, programs within, for our city, you can go to sanjosecleanenergy.org/EV. Next slide, please. And the last one that we're, like I said, being a fairly new program, one of the things that we're looking into is electrifying buildings and homes within the city of San Jose. And this could include anything from additional incentives to switch to a heat pump water heater. Right now, the city of San Jose does offer a heat pump water heater program through Environmental Services Department of up to $6,000. Right now, that program is fully subscribed, but we do encourage customers to sign up to be on the wait list, because as soon as funds become available, they'll be the first ones to be notified for that program. And like we were mentioning before, obviously being a program that procures energy, we want to be able to promote electrification while providing cleaner energy for all our customers. And this helps with the city's Climate Smart San Jose plan. And it's a plan to reduce greenhouse gas emissions for the city. And, City San Jose residents can also visit our electric homes website, which is sanjosecleanenergy.org/electric homes. To learn more about electrification within our city, and then also learn about different, appliances, electric appliances, and things like that. So like I had mentioned before, San Jose Clean Energy is still fairly new when it comes to programs, but some of the short-term things that we're looking at as well, have to do with building electrification, vehicle electrification, distributed energy resources such as demand response, energy storage, community solar, and obviously resiliency as well. Those are important factors for San Jose Clean Energy that we're looking into right now, and we're excited to get started in the near future. So thank you for your time, and I'll pass it on to Colleen.
Great, thank you. And yeah, I'm excited to get into some of the programs that SVCE offers as well, and some are similar, so I'll go pretty quick through some of these too. But jumping in, so Silicon Valley Clean Energy serves 13 communities within Santa Clara County. You could see the different communities, cities, and towns here. So feel free to take a look. And if you live in one of these areas, you are probably a customer of Silicon Valley Clean Energy, which is great because that means that you could have access to some of these programs. And as well as access to programs, that mean you have participated in this community impact of reducing overall emissions by 24%, saving an aggregated $69 million in on-bill savings from launching in 2015, and investing over $1.4 billion in renewable energy projects. We also have a couple of options that you could choose: a green start, which everyone was automatically enrolled in, and then a voluntary upgrade to Green Prime, which will be about $3 to $5 more a month for a typical residential customer if you're interested in just having wind and solar instead of wind, solar, hydropower, and other carbon-free sources for Green Start. But with that, we're going to jump on into some customer offers and services. First up, one of my personal favorites is our eHub, which is online tools and resources to help really take the guesswork out of switching to all electric at home and on the road. And so this includes an EV assistant, so you could shop and compare different EVs, see how you could save with an EV, which factors in cost of maintenance, gas, and total cost of the car compared to a gas-powered car. We have the appliances assistant, which you can shop for efficient electric products for your home. And currently we have $50 off induction cooktops, so you could try out a better way to cook. So you're not using gas, which really has impact in your home's air quality. You could cook with induction, which is electric and faster, better cooking experience and preferred by many top chefs, as well as a solar and battery assistant that you can receive quotes for solar and battery storage at your home. And now we also have a heat pump water heater rebate program. We could get up to $3,500 off. A pretty awesome product that you probably don't think much about in your home is your water heater, but you could save additional money on your utility bill as well in upgraded, and we have additional funding for a service panel upgrade or Care and Farah customers. You can look here at the URL, so svcleanenergy.org/water heating to learn more and apply. And we also have a program launching pretty soon that we wanted to tease for this event is the GridShift EV Charging, where you can put your car in charge, and so you can automatically charge your vehicle when the grid electricity is cheapest and cleanest. And a cool thing about this is you would, get this app, connect it to your car and charger, and then it does the work for you. So it's pretty easy to do. This is if you have an electric vehicle. And we also have a solar and storage program where, similar to Peninsula Clean Energy's, customers can get up to $1,250 rebate for enrolling a solar and battery system that they install through Sunrun with this program. And you can find out more about it at svcleanenergy.org/lightsonsv. And that is wrapping up our program's discussion and talking about these awesome community choice energy agencies. But to learn more and to contact your local community choice energy agency, you can see here where to visit and who to reach out to. And with that, I believe we are passing it over to.
Yes, welcome, Jeffrey.
Yes.
I'm glad you were batting cleanup, so
Yes.
You're able to join us. So take it away.
Sure. And while I put my screen up, I see there is a question that seems to be probably more related to the CCAs. Someone asked, can you explain PCIA and how it is affecting rates? And so I'll put up my presentation now, but that might be one for you guys to answer.
Yeah, well, we do
Okay.
have plenty of time for questions after, and we'll get into PCIA and
Okay.
time of use, I'm sure.
Great. Okay, let me just. Are you seeing my presentation okay? Or am I in the presenter mode?
We see your presentation.
Great. Okay, so my name is Jeffery Liang. I am the single family program manager for BayREN. And I'm going to hazard a guess that most people don't know who BayREN is. And so BayREN, oops, how do I advance here? This. So BayREN, there we go. BayREN stands for the Bay Area Regional Energy Network. And this is a collaboration of the 9 Bay Area counties, as you can see here, all the way kind of in the north in Sonoma, all the way Solano, down to kind of the Peninsula, Santa Clara. And so this collaboration has been in effect since 2013. And our single family program manages the Home Plus rebate program. This is a rebate program that the BayREN administers with funds from the California Public Utilities Commission. So this year we have a budget of $4.2 million in rebates to offer for home improvements, and I'll talk a little bit about what that is. And since 2013, we've helped over 12,000 homes undergo home improvement projects to improve the energy efficiency of their home, and given out about over $24 million in rebates. So, we may not be, kind of well known in terms of the brand, but we have been out there helping people make these improvements to their homes since then. And so, as you can see, our territory is kind of overlapping several of the CCAs. So the great thing is we can really just collaborate with all these different CCAs. I think Carlos mentioned it, but the rebates that you heard from the San Jose Clean Energy, Silicon Valley Clean Energy, and Peninsula Clean Energy can be stacked on top of our rebates, or we message them together, because the great thing is we can collaborate on all of these. So not only do we collaborate with the CCAs here, but throughout the Bay Area as well. So what are the rebates that we offer? So since 2013, this program has been funded by energy efficiency dollars. And so a lot of the things that you see, attic and wall insulation, heating and cooling equipment, just kind of like the things that help us reduce the amount of energy we use in the home. And then as of last year, almost a year ago, March of 2020, we were able to start offering electrification rebates. So heat pump water heaters that you've heard about probably a couple of times here today. We're able to do heat pumps for heating and cooling. Again, the same technology where it takes the hot, the energy from the surrounding air and puts it into the water or puts it into the air. And what's really exciting now is, we are now able to offer rebates for people to switch to heat pumps where they didn't have AC before. And so, as the temperature keeps getting hotter and hotter, and more people are looking not just to replace their furnace, but start to also have AC capability, now we can start giving rebates for that. So these electrifications rebates, we started March 2020, and of course, 2 weeks after everything shut down. So we are still fairly new on this, but there's a lot of really exciting, so I mentioned the 2 heat pumps. We're also offering rebates for induction cooking, which, as other people have alluded to, is not just great for energy efficiency, but for indoor air quality. I have two kids, one's 3.5, one's 8 months old. And one of the, interesting statistics I heard was that 40 kids who live in homes with a gas stove are 42% more likely to develop asthma. So, not only are we trying to make it more, cleaner for the outdoor environment, but also for the indoor environment and for our kids. So we have all, those 4 rebates now for electrification, which should, in most cases, if people are able to take advantage of all of those, can get their homes fully electric, at least, especially once we add on solar and batteries. So as I mentioned here, all these rebates can be stacked on top of CCA rebates. And we not only are we trying to, kind of add those rebates together, but we're trying to figure out how do we make it easiest for all of the for the user, for people to come and find the programs that are most useful for them. I think there was this great terms I heard from somewhere that they said, no door is the wrong door. So that if someone comes in through looking for, indoor air quality and that they can find programs on our induction cooktop, they can find programs about the $50 rebate that Colleen mentioned. And so what we did was we created this home energy advisor service. And this is really a free helpline where anyone can call in, and we, can direct them to obviously the Home Plus rebates if that's what they need, but also direct them to, if they're looking for batteries, which we don't offer, be able to direct them to SVCE or PCE or San Jose Clean Energy. We help them find contractors. We review people's bids, just trying to help people come in and just get them to the next step in the process. And so this is, again, we collaborate with everybody. We even put on a Earth Day event not too long ago where we, I did a quick presentation, everything you should know about energy in 30 minutes. And then we got people into different breakout rooms depending on what they were looking for, kind of like a choose your own adventure, for whether you wanted to learn about what time of use rates were, or whether you wanted to fully electrify, or you wanted to just get people to the right place. So that's kind of what BayREN does. And we're kind of that one-stop shop where we can work with everybody in the Bay Area and work with all our counties to get people just the next step that they need to go. And I think that's all I have. So that's our number. Our website is listed down there. We're in the process of updating it, and I think that's it. So let's see.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you, Jeffrey. And thank you, Colleen, Carlos, and Raul. In presenting these things on turn, I know just even in terms of the program and the program details get, just after a while kind of whiz by, but it's, I think it's well worth checking out. And there was a question about if the slides will be available. And in this case, especially, I think that would be a good idea. I'm thinking, and I'll follow up with this. If we can collect presentations, we can post them to a shared public folder, and people can pick and choose. We'll try to even have some folder management based on different segments and things. But the devil's in the details for this, and there's certainly a lot to go through, but it's well worth going through, and it's great to see the development of these programs. I know PCE has had a bit of a head start. They were, I think, after Marin and Sonoma in terms of the CCC establishment order, And but Silicon Valley and San Jose are quickly catching up, and it's great to see. So I think there's a couple foundational issues that and Jeffrey kind of alluded to when he saw in terms of the Q&A. And so I would like someone to take a stab at explaining PCIA and the ways of the Public Utility Commission. That might be too great a task, that latter part, but at least the PCIAs, even though, strangely enough, the Public Utility Commission does not have direct regulatory authority over community choice energy, but that's a whole other story. So anyway, PCIA, who's going to take that on?
Yeah, I could jump in first, and then I'll open it up to Raul and Carlos for any additional items you want to add in. So the PCIA, or the Power Charge Indifference Adjustment, also referred to as an exit fee, is the charge in which CCA customers help share the cost of contracts that an IOU, so IOU is an investor-owned utility, such as PG&E, SCE, or SDG&E in California. So, sharing the cost that these investor-owned utilities have for contracts that were made before customers that these IOUs served went to a CCA, and so these contracts include electricity that the IOUs had planned to provide to these customers, and so with that, it's a shared cost that is reflected on the bill as this PCIA, and it's an additional charge for CCA customers. But all like the community choice energy agencies take in account the PCIA into their overall fees, generation costs and rates. And so, in setting rates, or at least SVCE looks at the PCIA and can adjust the generation rate to have competitive costs with PG&E to really, accommodate for this charge that is on CCA customers as well. And I will pause there and let Carlos and Raul jump in.
Carlos or Raul or Jeffrey, would you like to add anything to that?
Just briefly, that was a great overview. I'll say that the PCIA was recently increased pretty significantly, actually, for CCA customers. And right now, what that means tangibly for San Mateo County residents is we're not going to be raising rates at this time. It could affect our programs and long-term impacts, but obviously the PCIA going up is not a good thing. So yeah, we're working to look at where we, how we can make changes in order to address that increase. But I want to be very careful with PCIA.
Yeah, there's quite a tug of war going on involved in that. I mean, there's a lot of, the advantage of new organizations like CCEs is obviously they can take advantage of the latest contracts and the continuing low price of large scale solar and share that with their customers as a nonprofit organization. And the for-profit organizations have a lot of stranded assets. And to be fair, long-term historical contracts for clean energy when they were building the market. So, there is some justification for that, but I mentioned that devil keeps in the details. There's also, by the way, a lot of stranded gas sets, which is another story on the gas side, the natural gas side. And as electric organizations, community organizations, they're definitely doing their part in terms of decarbonization with these programs. While we're going through the greatest hits, I think it's time to talk about time of use. Anyone game on that? Carlos.
Oh, I was just looking at, there was a question on BayREN. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, we have that next up, but I wanted to go through all the acronyms first. And
Well, that could take a while with all the acronyms.
well, at least actually time of use isn't an acronym. I mean, people have not made it TOU, but it is something that is really affecting everyone in terms of billing. So an explanation of time of use.
Sure, I'll take a quick crack at it. So basically, you know, a lot of people who are in the energy space are very familiar with a term called the duck curve, meaning that you know, when you know, we know that when renewable energy is available, you know, that's really when we want to incentivize people to use it at certain times of the day. So that's why there's being a shift made so that energy is cheaper when it's cleaner. Now, when there's no wind being created or solar, you know, it's on later in the evening, then the energy mix isn't as clean. So we want to incentivize people to use energy during the day and less at night. Now, long-term, something we are working with other CCEs is on something, a long duration storage program, which we all would combine together, and we have an RFP out for, you know, the problem I'm talking about has been going on for a long time about using energy when it's clean certain times of the day. The long term would be having clean energy throughout the entire day on a 24/7 basis. And in order to get there, storage would be a key part of that. So that's where we're working with other CCEs to find innovative ideas to store the renewable energy so that we can use it throughout the day. But in terms of what's happening right now is, you know, everyone on E1, which is the majority of residents, are going to be switched to a time of use rate. And the way our calculus shows is that most people would save money on this change. But long-term storage is going to be a key component for our renewable energy goals.
Thank you. That was quite good. And so, Jeffrey, let's talk about you and BayREN. Well, BayREN rebates. In this context, they've been talked about as far as adding on to the CCA rebates, but in some cases, I mean, you do a number of different rebates, and so the question was if are the BayREN rebates available independent of the CCAs, and in some cases that aren't, you know, covered at this point. So perhaps you can talk to that.
Yes, definitely. We have the rebates are available as long as you are a PG&E, you receive a PG&E bill. So the notable exceptions are Palo Alto, which has their own utilities, and for a few cases, Santa Clara, because they have their own utility as well. And Santa Clara, you can actually do most of the improvements. The only thing you can't do is switch from gas to electric. Santa Clara would have to have their own program for that. And Palo Alto has their own rebates for those as well. But pretty much as long as you, you get a PG&E bill, then you are eligible for BayREN programs. And of course, the great thing is with working with the CCAs is we can collaborate so for example, on the heat pump water heater ones, if they come through us and we can also let them know, hey, you can get a CCA rebate as well. So as much as possible, we try to let all our customers know that they can everything that they can get. But our program, of course, is regional. And so it really just lays like a base layer of rebates for the whole area.
Or the icing on a cake.
Yeah, we're just the cake part. You guys get to be the frosting and icing.
Well, you can do it on the bottom too. You did bring up, I'm sorry, I kind of lost train of thought there, but there is a question I had in terms of, it seems in terms of decarbonization, the big conceptual and practical issue is cooking. And I know there's been some programmatic addresses. I think Colleen was talking about some induction kind of rebates, but I just wondered if there were comments about overcoming the cooking issue. I mean, it's one of those feeling issues, and I think there is a very slight learning curve. So, I mean, I think that, are there any plans in terms of overcoming that?
Yeah. And I'm happy to speak first, but happy for anyone to add on. I will say that I am a very avid cook. In fact, I helped start a nonprofit restaurant a couple of years ago, and my nickname there was Jeffery. So I would not tolerate any like lesser quality of cooking. That being said, and I have my own. It's funny. I forgot who it was. Maybe it's the Hair Club for Men who says, I'm not just the president, I'm a client as well. Well, I bought a house in November, so I am going through this process myself. I'm walking that walk, and maybe I need hair too, but so we are in the process of actually getting an induction cooktop ourselves, and having used, you can buy these $50 or $60 induction hobs. They're very portable. You see a lot of high-end chefs using them for cooking demonstrations. They actually they heat up a lot faster. They've done these cooking tests, just boiling water, and boiling the same amount of water takes like 1 minute on induction, and can take 7 to 8 minutes on gas or electric. So you're not sacrificing speed. And you also, as someone who cooks a lot and was teaching people how to cook, precision is very important. If I can make sure that steak is cooked to 130 inside every time, then that's a huge benefit, because now I have a lot more control over when things get done. And that's really one of the benefits to induction. You can cook, you could set it at a specific temperature and have it stay there. And so having used this, and not even talking about the indoor air quality benefits of it, I'm trying to get people to understand that induction is like switching from gas to induction is like switching from a flip phone to a smartphone. You now have, it's a little different. You may need to learn it, but it's a huge jump in technology. I know there's some great videos that different CCAs have put out with James Beard winning chefs and Michelin-starred chefs using induction, and they're saying, "Wow, I didn't realize how much better it is." So I know that sounds like a huge commercial for induction. I say that all because I'm switching to it, and yes, there needs to be some education. We have a YouTube page where we have a chef who is like the personal chef for George Lucas, and she's doing some kitchen electrification demos. I know there's been Chris Cosentino, guy who won Top Chef, another Top Chef contestant to David Fu, who's cooking on, I think, Food and Wine, Best New Chef, Nat Yuen from Mumbai. All these people are using it. We're hoping to get more and more videos out, on Sunset Magazine, so that people can see how much better it is, and it's not really that much of a sacrifice.
Jeffrey, you mentioned Rochelle Boucher, who's been doing some stuff out of her San Francisco studio, or whatever that area is, where she has all
appliance showroom.
Cooking studio. And so we hope to do some things with her. I mean, I do think ultimately that kind of thing is important for people to get a sense of hands-on and to see the precision. I mean, there's, the fact is some of their pots and pans won't work because it's magnetic. Induction is magnetic and not done by direct heat. And so, that's certainly an issue. Any other thoughts on induction? Colleen, looks like you're.
Yeah, I was just going to throw out there, I'm speaking for a more amateur chef myself, but I love induction because I love to cook with my nieces and nephews. And when I do cook with them, if there is a gas flame, I, still want to make sure they're safe with induction, but I would get a little bit more nervous when I would be cooking with them with a gas flame. And so induction does really provide additional safety in that the cooking surface does not get hot. Induction does, it heats up the pot or pan that is on the cooking surface. And so once that hot pot or hot pan is taken off the cooking surface, that cooking, like the induction cooktop, is relatively cool. It is a little bit warm since, it had a warm or hot pot on it. But with this, I just feel a lot more comfortable to have my nieces and nephews cooking up there with me, whether, you making different recipes. And I also have spoken with other people who really like that aspect, in that they have cats and they don't want their cats to burn their paws if they were to walk over the cooktop. And so, along with all the different benefits that Jeffrey said, that's one of my favorites as well.
Carlos.
Yes, I'll just touch on a few things. First of all, there's no way I can do such a great sales job as Jeffrey. Wow, that was very convincing. But I'll touch from Peninsula Clean Energy standpoint, a few things. One, we don't have any specific incentives for residents right now. We're focusing on education when it comes to home electrification for the most part. So we have a web page where you can aggregate different rebates available for different home products that you can get, plus learning more about what an electric home can look like. And we also we just gave away these building electrification awards to different homes and businesses so that people can see what leaders in home electrification look like. That's one part. The second part is we're working with cities specifically on a larger scale to pass what's called REACH codes. These are building codes that may not seem like the sexiest thing, but they're really huge in terms of their impact. Because REACH codes are these building codes. So when cities are approving certain buildings, all new buildings, they have to hit a certain code, a requirement. So if they go further in terms of the electrification, that's why it's called a REACH code. And we've been working with cities to advise them on different ways they can implement REACH codes in their city, so that all new buildings are cleaner and emit less carbon emissions than before.
And a program plug note for tomorrow afternoon, we'll have Diane Bailey of Menlo Spark, the Joan of Arc of REACH codes, and probably one of the main reasons that 44 municipalities across California have done REACH codes of varying kinds. Dig at Raul. The San Jose REACH code, of course, includes this weird gas energy storage thing, but we'll have to work on that. Raul, any thoughts on induction? I just wanted to mention another practical thing. As someone who makes a terrible mess of the stove all the time, as a not particularly well-schooled cook, but I'm definitely enthusiastic. It's a lot easier to clean induction surfaces. But anyway, Raul, any thoughts?
Yeah, no, that's for sure. And like Carlos, San Jose Clean Energy is in the same boat right now of doing the education factor. We've worked with a couple influencers, obviously, to promote the benefits of induction cooking. The city of San Jose did have obviously before COVID had their induction cooktop low need program. So we were able to send those out to some of the influencers and make some fun videos. We even had an influencer do gardening tips on their gardening work with their induction. So obviously boiling the water and then taking it near their plants. And then obviously so it was a really cool concept. And like you mentioned right now, I think one of the cool things about, I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. So definitely safety is a really important factor. And obviously the cleanup as well. I know, it's a quick swipe and you're ready to go. So, and I know a lot of my family and friends, coming from a Mexican household, a lot of them tend to just, put the beans on the stove and the gas is running for hours, at a time. And, with the induction, it's just a quick, it's faster, one, and then you don't have to worry about, inhaling bad things. So, I know that's been a shift for my mom as well. So now she uses a portable induction cooktop just for beans. So that's the cool part. But yeah, no, I'm a big fan now of induction for sure.
One of the last holdouts was with woks and the traditional high heating, but I've seen a lot of videos lately about dedicated units. Like the woks are made for the induction burner, and it's like a single burner, but it's like a whole system that looks really good. And also, one thing you hear a lot about, there's been a lot of rethinking in terms of commercial kitchens, and the fact that if a kitchen could be 15 to 20 degrees cooler, that's huge. That, and of course the air quality issues, the biggest air quality challenge residentially is the kitchen. And we're burning, there's all these hydrocarbons around, and frankly the state of ventilation is probably just about the same as this, the level of air leakages and ducts and things, terrible.
And I will say we are planning to do a study with Lawrence Berkeley National Labs where we measure before and after someone installs an induction stove. But if you look at the, kind of what are the 1 hour exposure limits for nitrogen dioxide and formaldehyde and carbon monoxide, we talk about indoor air quality, especially when there's wildfires. But if you look at the charts of those levels during cooking, we exceed that outdoor level inside consistently in our home. So number one, if you don't remember anything else, just make sure to turn on your ventilation hood. But even then, our ventilation, some people don't have ventilation hoods. Some of them blow the air right back into the space and doesn't vent outside. I've been in the kitchen, restaurant kitchen on the hottest day of summer, and I can tell you, it takes, that gas brings a lot of heat, and then you have to ventilate all that out of the house, out of the building, to make sure things are still healthy. So by reducing a lot of that byproduct in the house, then you can have a smaller vent hood. There's even certain induction stoves where the air gets sucked back into the stove. So you may not even need a ventilation hood. We're looking at that for our in-law unit because it'd be a lot easier to have it built into the stove rather than try to poke holes in our envelope and have it vented outside. So all things to consider. We're all still at the beginning phases of this and trying to do a lot more education, but it's really, I think it's the wave of the future. And I also cook with woks. Woks, again, need a lot of ventilation. I think I want to get one of those portable induction units so I can just take it outside and cook where obviously the ventilation is not an issue. So I think there's a benefit from that aspect.
That's a very interesting idea, the portable. I've just, we had a question from Mayor Larry Klein of Sunnyvale, who is actually up next with Bailey Hall. And so I promoted him to the panel since he's going to be here in a few minutes anyway. But Mr. Mayor, what's your question?
Sorry. So and I really appreciate that work. Is from San Jose, are you doing lending from the libraries also for induction burners? Because that's one of the things we're doing here in Sunnyvale, and the feedback has been really positive. For Earth Month last month, I ended up doing a cooking competition with several staff members against the mayor to promote induction cooking, and it was a fantastic thing as far as getting, for one thing, beautiful weather, getting people outside and showing them that things that might be have lots of fumes or like frying is a perfect thing to do outside on an induction burner. So just wondering how other ways are you promoting for within your city?
Yeah, so you know, we want through the libraries, that's not something that we've done yet. But I know that the city, like I had mentioned before, had their loanee program going for quite a long time. But you know, as soon as COVID happened, they stopped you know, doing the loaner program. But I know that that's something that they've been talking about starting back up again, because there has been a lot of interest from the community, especially after you know, seeing a lot of the influencer videos that the city's been doing, and also just like the promotion during Earth Month as well. So I know, you know, taking, you know, even that idea of using the libraries is an awesome, a cool thing to do. But yeah, no, so I know everybody, you know, the technology is super exciting, and you know, and I definitely think we'll take a page from your book there of using the libraries to get these out.
So we're in the last question stage. And because we all are we're just so about being on time. After Waterpalooza, which I take blame for having too many questions and answers, but this panel, we were allowed to have a lot of time for questions and answers and discussion. There's so many issues to take, but this is actually from Lisa Kirby. Frequently cited consumer concern is about how overall utility costs compare when converting from gas to all electric appliances. It's kind of a general, you know, worry. And I just wondered if people could take a stab at addressing that kind of, you know, that kind of worry.
I will say, you know, really kind of rates, I mean, it's becoming more important when you use energy, not as it's almost as important as when you use energy as how much you use. And so, you know, kind of, especially on the BayREN side, energy efficiency kind of undergirds all of this, you know, just being able to use less. Simply, you know, even things like the very unsexy insulation and duct sealing. If we can, you know, we leak so much of our energy out of our homes that if we could just seal those things up, we could be saving a lot. So that's why we always talk about efficiency first. And then you do solar after you've figured out where it's like fixing the leaky tires before you put on like a great new motor on your car. And it's great if you have this new motor, but if it's, you know, running inefficiently, it's not really helping you all that much. So first of all, yeah, like being able to control when you use those, like the electric appliances, you know, great example is heat pump water heaters. PG&E will soon give you, you know, incentives to grid tie your water heater to you know, so that they can, you know, use it, supercharge your water when it's hot, and then have it coast through that 4 to 9 time period where it's, you know, the time of use rates is more expensive. And so it's more about, you know, not even so much about how much you use, but how you can control it, to use it during off-peak hours, and just, you know, using more efficient. Because I will also say heat pumps are, you know, and induction, like when you compare it to like electric resistance or the electric technologies we've used in the past, they're like worlds, you know, more efficient. So, you know, by doing those things, by getting to a much more efficient electric system, and then by being able to control it, you essentially become almost like a power plant yourself, because you can, you know, take, just essentially kind of play arbitrage with the rate system.
Well, I think we're going to have to leave it there. And before we get into, so I'd like to thank Colleen, Carlos, Raul, and Jeffrey for this panel, and just a lot of great information. We will follow up with, you know, maybe PDFs of the presentation that we will have as a publicly available resource, and you know, as part of the post-Sustainapalooza, information library. So thank you.